First round of the NBA playoffs is officially over. I thought the first one was absolutely spectacular, and I'm just going to recap these first round matchups. I'm going to start with Pistons Magic. I'm just going to go through the game sevens first. Pistons Magic. Pretty roller coaster of a series. You have the Magic going up 3-1 versus the one seeded Detroit. And it almost felt like, I don't know what Detroit can do to come back. I even think I said that here on the channel. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if I see it. Then you see in Game 6, at halftime, the Magic are up 20 points. And Detroit storms back. The Magic missed 23 shots in a row. And then in Game 7, it was really all Detroit. Tobias Harris had an absolutely spectacular game. And Cade Cunningham, this series was really good. He solidified himself as an absolute superstar, top 10 player in the NBA. And, I thought in Game 7, Jalen Duren looked a lot better too. And in terms of the Magic, I think Paolo Banchero, he keeps proving himself as a playoff riser. I know Game 6 wasn't good, but it wasn't good for anybody. Having Franz Wagner miss games, that really hurt them, and he's a guy they really need on their team to win basketball games. So, but I don't know. If you're Orlando, I don't know how you feel, because it's like the regular season was so disappointing, but in the playoffs you kind of overachieved. Like, you didn't think you were going to be up 3-1 against the Pistons. I know they end up losing, but still, like, you overachieved in the playoffs a little bit. But the regular season was so bad, I don't really know where you go from here. I don't know what you do. I mean, obviously you can make a coaching change. You could. I don't really know what roster change you could make. Maybe you get rid of like a Jalen Suggs, and I don't know what you get for him, but maybe that's the route you go, because you have an Anthony Black. Obviously Desmond Bain sticking around, Paolo Banchero sticking around, Franz Wagner's probably sticking around, and Wendell Carter Jr., he's probably sticking around too. I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Orlando, because you also were toe-to-toe with the Pistons. If you have Franz Wagner, you might be in the second round right now, and you're looking at a lot different situation if you're in the second round instead of losing in the first round. And who knows, Cleveland didn't look the best. We'll get to them. Maybe you could have beat Cleveland too. Probably not, but maybe. And then if you're in the conference finals, then you're just running it back. So I don't know. It's a tough situation for Orlando. I don't know exactly what they'll do. But, I mean, overall, fun series. 3-1 comeback. I think there's been like less than 20 ever 3-1 comebacks. So, fun. Detroit holds on. Detroit wins. It's going to be a tough series for Detroit against Cleveland. Different because Cleveland's not as like physical and defensively oriented like Orlando is. So Detroit, it'll be different series, but it'll still be challenging for sure. But yeah, Detroit moves on, and let's move on to Cleveland versus Toronto. Another super fun series. Toronto challenged them a lot after the first two games and made James Harden and Donovan Mitchell really struggle after those first two games where they looked absolutely spectacular. Donovan Mitchell really struggled in this series, I thought, after Game 1 and Game 2. And that's a testament to Toronto's defense. That's a testament to how good Scotty Barnes is. That's a testament to how good Colin Murray-Boyles, Jamal Shead, R.J. Barrett. Like, this is a testament to how good these guys played. Jacoby Walter played really well. They didn't really get anything from Brandon Ingram, and you still push it 7 games. Scotty Barnes looked absolutely amazing, like a superstar, and that's something that's super encouraging if you're Toronto. Brandon Ingram's a little bit discouraging because of, he didn't play well, and maybe that's a guy you try to move off of, even though maybe you don't. I don't know. You didn't have Emmanuel Quickley. That's another thing that you could say, like, if we have Emmanuel Quickley, this could be a different series. If you're Toronto, you got to be pretty excited about your team. You have a superstar in Scotty Barnes, and you're missing players. You had some players, your second best player, not really show up, and you're missing a starter in Emmanuel Quickley, and you just had guys step in and play really good. You had a rookie in Colin Murray-Boyles who was absolutely amazing. So yeah, from the Raptors side, things to be excited about. Obviously, you want to win the series, but overall, I still think they could be really excited about this. And from Cleveland's perspective, I mean, I don't know, like those first two games, they looked really good. James Harden looked really good. Donovan Mitchell looked really good, and then they kind of slowed down. They had a big Jared Allen game in Game 7. Jared Allen was awesome. Evan Mobley, I think in this series overall was pretty good. I would probably say he was honestly the MVP for Cleveland in this series, but it's tough. You play a Detroit team who is going to challenge you with their defense a lot as well. They're going to be really hard. They're going to be really hard to score on. They're going to present a lot of problems. They're going to stick Asar Thompson on one of James Harden or Donovan Mitchell, and Asar Thompson is one of the best defenders in the NBA. And then you have guys like Jalen Duren, B. Stu, like you guys that will guard, bro. You got guys that will play super hard defense and are some of the best defenders in the NBA. And if Cleveland can't figure it out, I could see Detroit winning this series and going from down 3-1 in the first round of the 8 seed to in the conference finals. It's a big turnaround. But I could also see Cleveland win. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell need to figure it out. They have to play good in this series. Detroit also isn't great offensively, so even if Detroit gives them problems with their defense, offensively they don't really score enough, so it could be a lot of close games. I think this is going to be a really fun series. I think this could go 7 games. I think this could be a lot of close games, super fun, entertaining series. Who do I think will win between Detroit and Cleveland? I'm not sure. I think after what I seen in the first round, I think I'm going with Cleveland because I think Detroit's offense is too flawed, and I think having a flawed offense is way more detrimental than having a flawed defense. But we'll see. Cleveland, you get out of the series. They both get out of the series, and that's what matters. The other Game 7, Philly versus Boston. Man, this one is super surprising to me. I did not think Philly was going to win. Well, once they got to Game 7, I was kind of like, dang, they might actually do this. And Jason Tatum was ruled out. I'm like, oh my gosh, they might really do this. But going into the series, no way I thought this was going to happen. I don't think many people did in general. Maybe some people did. I'm not going to say everyone didn't, but I certainly didn't. And everything I was seeing online didn't have the 76ers winning. But Joel Embiid came back, and he was just unstoppable. Numens Queta, he couldn't guard him. Vucevic got a DNP in Game 7, wasn't good. Luka Garza, he's not going to be able to stop Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey is just so good at basketball. He's so fast. He has a creative handle. He can really make tough shots. You really just have to pray he misses his shots. Like he's so hard. He's impossible to guard. VJ Edgecombe as a rookie has been super impactful. I thought Paul George had an awesome series for him. He was making a lot of tough shots. He was creating a lot. Like, I thought defensively he looked pretty good. Defensively, they were really good against Boston in general. Like, they just had a really good defensive series. Kelly Oubre Jr., very impactful player, and does a lot of winning plays that necessarily don't show up on the stat sheet, and Philly gets it done. Super impressive for the 76ers. Then you play a Knicks team who's really up and down. You never know. This could be a competitive series. I also expect the Knicks to win in about 6 games, probably. I think the Knicks take care of business and get it done, but I don't know. The Knicks be so up and down sometimes, and I don't know about if Cat is holding Joel Embiid. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson could do a decent job. The only thing is they have a lot of defenders that could create some problems for like a Tyrese Maxey with like Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby. Like, no matter who's on him, and obviously Jalen Brunson they could really expose, but they have some guys that could create some challenges for Tyrese Maxey and make it hard on him, but then you also have guys like Paul George. I think the Knicks have a lot of defenders that match up well against 76ers, and that's why I really think the Knicks are going to end up winning the series. But if the 76ers guard how they did against Boston, it could be interesting. I'm not going to count Philly out because that's what I did against Boston, and they beat them. From Boston, tough series. It's kind of interesting season for them because this was kind of supposed to be like a gap year almost. Like, yeah, we're not expected to win much this season. It's a developmental season, and then they ended up being one of the best teams in the NBA from a record standpoint, and they really overachieved in the regular season. And you get Jason Tatum back for the playoffs, and then it's like, wow, they might actually like be a contender. And then you severely underachieve in the playoffs after severely overachieving in the regular season, and then Jason Tatum missed Game 7, and you lose in the first round to the 7th seed, the 76ers. Who almost lost their first playing game. It's tough. But, like, this wasn't supposed to be a great year for Boston. I think that's where I would kind of, if I was a Boston fan, I wouldn't be too upset because it's like this year wasn't supposed to be a championship year, and it ended up having those expectations because they really overachieved in the regular season. They have a lot of talent still. You need Jason Tatum to come back and have a healthy season under his belt next year. Jaylen Brown might be a first-team All-NBA guy, and you have a lot of young guys that I really like Baylor Shireman, like even a Ron Harper. Like, I think he was good. I know he had 0 points in the game 7, but I still think he's pretty good. I really like Baylor Shireman. We'll see what they do. Obviously, you have Payne Pritchard, Derek White. Derek White didn't have a great series, but he's still a really good player. And yeah, I don't know. For the Celtics, it's hard to say if they overachieve, underachieve. I don't really know. It's tough. It's tough. Knicks Hawks. I talked about the Knicks a little bit, but fun series. The Hawks really need another ball handler, some more creation because they were relying on C.J. McCollum for so much of that. Because Nickeil Alexander-Walker, as good as he is, like, he doesn't really handle pressure the best sometimes, and his handle's not always the best sometimes, and he just didn't have a good series. You have a good player in Jalen Johnson. You have a Onyeka Okongwu who's solid, but they just need a little bit more. They need another creator. We'll see what they do in the NBA draft. But they're missing a little bit, but still a good season for Atlanta. I think they overachieved as well. They had that stretch in the regular season where they were really good, won a bunch of games in a row. But this Knicks team is super talented. It's a really talented roster. It's hard to beat them. I know they got smacked in Game 6, but still competitive series. And, for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson is really good. Jalen Brunson's better than anything the Hawks got. Karl-Anthony Towns debatably is better than anything the Hawks got. I don't know. It's hard to say between him and Jalen Johnson. But, I mean, it's close. So, obviously, the Knicks here have a more talented roster, and when they play good, and Jalen Brunson and Bridges and Anunoby and Cat, they all play good, and Josh Hart play good together. It's like, what are you supposed to do? They're just super talented. So I wouldn't be disappointed if I'm the Hawks, and if I'm the Knicks, yeah, you get the 76ers instead of the Celtics, you probably feel pretty good about that. And then on the other side, you have two teams that struggled in their first round matchup. So I think this looks good for the Knicks to make the finals. They're going to make the finals this year. This year looks good for them. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying they're guaranteed to beat Philadelphia. I definitely won't say that, but this looks good for like a decent path for them to make the finals. Moving on to the Western Conference, because there's no Game 7s here. I'll briefly talk about Thunder Suns real quick. Thunder are really good. No surprise that they absolutely smacked Phoenix. Phoenix has a lot of fun pieces to work with. They should be really encouraged about the future for Phoenix. But yeah, you're not going to beat OKC. They're too talented, even without J-Dub. They're just too good. They're insanely good roster. That's all I'm really going to say about them. I mean, there's not much to really say about OKC. Lakers Rockets, fun series. Lakers get done in Game 6. Took care of business, really controlled the entire game in that game. And Austin Reeves is back. Are they going to beat the Thunder? No. They're probably going to lose really bad to the Thunder as well. But, good for LeBron James, good for the Lakers to beat the Rockets in the first round. I know no Kevin Durant, but it's still impressive to win this first round matchup and to make the second round of the playoffs. That's an accomplishment. Even though I think they are going to get smacked by the Thunder, I still think that's an accomplishment. But they did have a lot of players step up, like Luke Kennard, like Marcus Smart, even DeAndre Ayton played really good defense against Şengün this series. They have Rui Hachimura, Whiskey and Austin Reeves back, and LeBron James. Maybe they could take a game from OKC and not get swept. Maybe they could even take two. I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know about Luka Doncic. I don't know the last time I heard an update, but it doesn't sound like he's that close to coming back. But, good for the Lakers. Moving on to Wolves Nuggets. I have videos on my channel basically dedicated to the Wolves, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but it's super impressive that, you're down that many people and you still win, especially in that Game 6 with no Ayo Dosunmu as well, no Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo, and you still find a way to get it done. And it's super impressive. I know the Nuggets didn't have Aaron Gordon or Payne Watson, but still, the Nuggets talent-wise were better than the Wolves, but they just found in the playoffs they just play better. The Wolves are a playoff team. They got a lot of guys that just play insanely hard and step up in the right moments. And the Nuggets kind of had a lot of the opposite. They had a lot of droppers. Even Jamal Murray this year, even though he's known as a playoff riser, wasn't this year at all. Christian Brown wasn't really impactful. Jokic was a dropper this year. It's just tough. I don't know what the Nuggets really do now, because clearly this roster isn't good enough. But I don't really know what you're doing. The Timberwolves. Let me talk about the Spurs before I get into this Wolves-Spurs series. But Spurs take care of business, even with Wemby, having that concussion and, having some problems in the series. Still played absolutely fantastic when he played, and they take care of business. San Antonio's super talented, and that's really all I got to say about that series. I mean, good for Portland. They have a lot of pieces that they should be happy about and encouraged about, and their future looks good, especially if they get Dame to play next year, which he will. they could be a really good team. They could be a really solid team, but you know, they have Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Julian Champagnie, Harrison Barnes. Like I know Harrison. I shouldn't include Harrison Barnes. I just thought of him, so I want to say his name. But super talented. Now for the Wolves and Spurs, it's interesting because like what I've thought about before, it's like the Wolves like driving a ton, and Victor Wembanyama's down there. And there is a tweet today that came out that Ant is expected to play, and I think this makes this a way harder series for San Antonio. I think San Antonio wins this series, but I think defensively the Wolves can really create some problems for them as long as Wemby isn't averaging 35 points per game. Like, I think these could be competitive games. I think this could be close, and I think I trust Ant. I think I trust Ant as like a clutch player more than I would trust Victor Wembanyama. I think Ant. And that's not to say Victor Wembanyama isn't clutch. I just really trust Ant in these type of situations. The Wolves have been to the conference finals 2 years in a row. The Spurs are insanely young. They haven't been here before. This is their first time in the Wemby era being in the second round. De'Aaron Fox, I don't think he's ever been in the second round. I'm pretty sure he hasn't. Dylan Harper's a rookie. Obviously hasn't been there. Stephon Castle, this is his first time. Keldon Johnson, this is his first time. Devin Vassell, this is his first time. Like Julian Champagnie, I think this is his first time. All their impactful players, this is their first time being here ever. They have no experience in this part of the playoffs, and I could see a world where that doesn't matter, and they just take care of business, and the experience doesn't matter. But maybe there's a world where it does. The Wolves have a ton of experience. I mean, they just made the conference finals last year. They've made it 2 years in a row. We've seen that they're resilient, and sometimes expectations don't necessarily matter. And they go above expectations. So we'll see what happens. The Wolves also just have a lot of good players. Like, I know Mike Conley, people don't really mention him, but he's definitely impactful for this team. You have obviously Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. Then you have Ayo Dosunmu. Bones Highland can be impactful. I think he could have some moments in the series. I really do. Terrence Shannon Jr. just had an insane Game 6. Maybe Jalen Clark will get some burn. Probably not, but maybe. Naz Reid, yeah, that's who I was forgetting. Naz Reid, I think Naz Reid could have an okay series again. It's hard with Wemby, and Naz Reid likes getting downhill. We'll see. We'll see how the Wolves handle the Wemby situation, but I think it could be more fun than people are going to give the Wolves credit for, and we'll see. Should be a fun series. Last thing I'll do is I just want to make my official predictions, even though I've kind of already said them. I'm going to make my official predictions now that we have the second round set. Pistons, Cavs. I'm having the Cavs in 7 games. I'm having the Cavs in 7 games. That's a really tough one. That's a really tough one for me. I can see it go either way. Knicks, Sixers. I'm going to say the Knicks in 6 games. Like I've kind of mentioned, they're just too talented, but I'm not counting the Sixers out. I think the Sixers could win the series, but I'm going to pick Knicks in 6. Thunder, Lakers. I got the Thunder in 5. Respectfully, I got the Thunder in 5. I could see the Thunder in 4. Honestly, the Thunder are just so talented, and defensively, they're just going to create so many turnovers, so many problems for this Lakers team, and offensively, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so that doesn't. You're not probably going to turn it over as much. You have Chet Holmgren, who I think he could have a pretty decent series considering the rosters and how they match up. So I'm going with the Thunder in 5 games, and then Spurs Wolves. I'm going with the Spurs in 7. I'm going with the Spurs in 7. And a lot of people will probably pick the Spurs in 6 or 5. I'm going to go with Spurs in 7. Barely. Actually, I think in Game 7, they'll probably win by like 15 points. But I think they're barely going to squeak out of this series. Even though I think I really like the Spurs, and I think they're really talented. And I think they're one of the only teams that could compete with OKC. But I think the Wolves are going to present some challenges, especially like the Wolves defense. So we'll see. Yeah, that's the first round. Amazing first round. These playoffs have been really good so far. I think they've been better than I expected, honestly. And we'll see. Hopefully the second round also is really good. Besides Thunder Lakers, I really see all these series could end up being really fun, really interesting. Could have some animosity as well, which always makes it fun. And yeah, that's going to do it. We out. Deuces.